Hi everybody, my name is Mr. Francy and welcome back to Mr. Francy Reads. It is time to do my favourites and non-favourites of the first half of the year. I am so excited to get into it. So, let's begin. Today we are doing favourite authors, and you guys, I have some amazing authors to discuss with you all. I have 5 authors that I'm going to talk about. So let's get right into it. These are in no particular order. We are just celebrating these authors. These authors at some point or another throughout the first half of the year have brought me some joy. So, first cap off the rank is going to be Agatha Christie. So I don't exactly remember what month it was when I read, and then there were none, but have you ever had a situation where you read one book, just one, and you realize, oh my gosh, this is definitely the author for me. I trust this author implicitly. I want to read all of their works. I definitely have experienced that many times in the past, and I experienced it fully, wholly, and completely with Agatha Christie with And Then There Were None. This is currently marketed as an adult classic, but when it first came out, it was like a thriller, mystery type genre. And Agatha Christie, oh my gosh, I mean, it even says right there, the queen of mystery. I can tell why. I really can. The way she, at least going off one book anyway, the way that she keeps the reader, or for me, keeping it personal, the way she kept me so entranced in what was going on in the mystery. I mean, Agatha Christie is so good in this book, with this one book that I've read, that you as the reader know how everyone is gonna die, and it's not a turn-off. You know, you are spoiled as to how everyone's gonna die within the first, chapter or two, and you don't care because there is so much going on that you just can't turn away. And that is what I want when I'm looking at thrillers, mysteries, those types of books. I want a book that's going to hook me in and keep me on the edge of my seat all the way throughout and up until the end. And oh my gosh, did this book do that. Not only was I hooked through from the beginning and kept being that way throughout the entire story, but right at the very end, I mean, there's like the end, and then there's more, and in the then there's more moment, we find out what's going on, who done it, why this is the way it is. We get all the answers to all the questions, and oh my gosh, it blew me away. I mean, I was already on the edge of my seat watching all of these. For those of you who don't know, And Then There Were None focuses on these people who end up going to a deserted island. They're staying in a hotel. They read a poem about these 10 little soldiers who die in 10 different ways, and the people who are in this hotel are dying in those different ways. So we know how they're going to die. But I'm just so intrigued going, okay, who's going to be the next one to die? We know how they are. How are they going to set it up? And I'm on the edge of my seat. And then when the story had played out, essentially, I was just like, wow, man, this is such a good book. But why is it still going? Because the book has been played out. And then I realized we needed the ultimate reveal. We needed to know the who. Who did this? Who was behind it? And oh my gosh, the reveal was so good. It blew me away that just with one book, Agatha Christie has reeled me in. Welcome to my favourite authors list, Agatha Christie. Next up in my favourite authors list is the, in my opinion, incredibly talented Stephenie Meyer. This is the Twilight Saga series, and man did I have a blast with this series. So it's hard to hold up all the books, so let's just hold up Twilight. So I read this series when it originally was published many years ago, and I loved the series, but I hadn't read it since starting on booktube, and or hadn't reread it since that original time. And since I was on booktube, I wanted to reread it as a booktuber and give it a rating and just give my thoughts and feelings on book number 1 and the series as a whole as a critic now, as someone on booktube. And I started this book fully intending, this is book 1, I started this book fully intending on doing that, and after reading chapter 1, I knew that that idea was right out the window, because I was just taken away. Like, everything around me, outside of the book, like everything around me physically just melted away as I began my journey reading this series, reading the first book, and there was just no way that I could sit there actively and just be critiquing while I'm reading the book, because I was just so lost in a good way in this world. I was literally planted into the world. I was there. I was running alongside the characters, and it was fantastic. And this is all thanks to Stephanie Meyer. I'm going to use a term that is well known in fantasy, but I think it's definitely the case when it comes to paranormal books, which these are, and that is world building. World building is anything that builds up the world that it is that you're living in, whether that be a magic system, the history of the world, the culture of the world, all different things. And Stephanie Meyer's world building is so incredible that it's just fantastic. So I don't want to talk about the series too much, because it may come up in my favourite series of the first half of the year, I don't know. But anyway, I read Twilight and New Moon in, I think it was very late in 2021, and I read Eclipse and Breaking Dawn in the first half of 2022. So these are the 2 books that I read this year, so it counts. And just Stephanie Meyer's writing, it's just, oh my gosh, it's so Moorish. Like, I just need more. I don't want to walk away. This is just, it is written with such an easy to read writing style that any kind of roadblock that may be there is no longer there, because it's just easy to read. But it's just packed with so much information. And I just love it. And I think that some people, may choose to not even read the series because they've heard about that one decision that Stephanie Meyer made when it comes to, I won't say what the decision was, but when it comes to vampires being out in the sun, Stephanie Meyer made a creative liberty decision, and some people don't like it, to the point that when they heard this, they decided they're not even going to read the series at all to begin with. And I think that those people are missing out, because the series is absolutely amazing. For me, I actually don't mind that she made that decision. I think it was very individualistic, very different, very, very new. And I love that. I love when we see something different. But this whole series as a whole is just wonderful. Stephanie Meyer did an amazing job, and she absolutely deserves to be on this list. Next up, we have Josh Lanyon. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's get the crazy stuff out the way first, shall we? Josh Lanyon wrote the Secrets and Scrabbles adult cozy mystery series. Josh Lanyon is a pen name. It's fine, but please know that I'm referring to this author as the pen name, because that is the name that it's written under, and that's what I think of when I think of the series. I think of the name Josh Lanyon. So, yeah, just now that we've dealt with that, okay, let's talk about Josh Lanyon. Okay, so I did some research after really starting to get into cozy mysteries. As you can see, both this shelf and this shelf are filled with cozies. I did some research to see if I could find some cozy mysteries that broke certain molds. And one of the molds that I wanted to break was to see if I could find a cozy mystery that featured an LGBTIQ plus theme. Hello, Josh Lanyon. So, every single other cozy mystery that I've read so far this year features a female character as the protagonist, and that female character just so happens to be straight. Now, that is fine. I have no qualms with that. Totally enjoyable. Read a lot of great female protagonist cozy mysteries this year, and you will hear me talking about them. But you know, the LGBTIQ plus theme in books is very important to me and very important for me to represent on this channel. So I did that research. And boy, am I glad I did, because enter Secrets and Scribbles, where we not only follow a male protagonist, but we follow a male protagonist that just so happens to be gay. So right off the bat, I have credit to give to Josh Lanyon for creating a cozy mystery series with a male protagonist, which is not common at all, but then deciding to take that male protagonist and make that male protagonist gay really breaks the mold of cozies. It was just fantastic. So again, I'm not going to talk too much about the series itself because it may pop up in another video, but just focusing on Josh Lanyon himself. I start off with Murder at Pirates Cove. Had a lot of fun with this book, but I have to say that of the 3 that I've read so far, this is probably my least favourite in the series. But at the time, I still loved the book. I think I gave it like 3 or 3.5 stars because I just really appreciated what Josh Lanyon was trying to do. And a lot of people know when it comes to cozy mysteries, if you don't like book 1, give book 2 a go, see how you go. Boy, am I glad I did. Because this was, I don't know if I gave this 4.5 or 5 stars, but this was fantastic. This is book number 2. This one got 5 stars from me. This is book number 3, and I could not fault this book. There was nothing at all that I could point to as a con in this book. That's how amazing it was. But not only do I have a lot of appreciation for Josh Lanyon for writing a gay cozy mystery series, but I also think that the world that Josh Lanyon has created of Pirates Cove is a fantastic world with so many quirky characters. And what I love is I have a background in acting, in theatre, and I absolutely loved it, had a massive passion for it at the time. And this is definitely taking me back because our protagonist, whose name is Ellery, is he's an actor. The Pirates Cove itself is very theatrical because pirates once upon a time settled there, but now pirates aren't there anymore. It's just normal humans who are living there. But they act out the role as if they are pirates on a day-to-day basis, and it's just accepted. Like, they will don the pirate's hat and the patch eye and say, "Arr, matey," and no one bats an eyelid. They just go, "Oh yeah, it's Pirates Cove." And I just love it. It's so... the word whimsical is thrown around all too often these days, but this series is incredibly whimsical, and this series is so wonderful. Josh Lanyon had to be on this list. Next up, we have an author that's not going to surprise anyone, but if any author deserves to be celebrated for the first half of this year of books that I've read of theirs, it has to be this one. This is a new author to me, and I feel so incredibly lucky that I made some friends who introduced me to this author and to this series, and I will just always be so thankful for that because, oh my gosh, have I found love of a female author to the highest degree. This female author is just exactly what I needed, exactly what the doctor ordered, just exactly everything that, oh my gosh, makes cozies incredible to me. And at times, I do find myself when I read cozies written by other authors comparing them to this author's works. I am indeed talking about the absolutely incredibly talented and so sweet Amanda Flower, and I'm highlighting the Amish Candy Shop series right here. Okay, so we have Assaulted Caramel, Lethal Licorice, Premeditated Peppermint, I'm not holding these well, Toxic Toffee, Marshmallow Malice, and Amish Candy Shop Holidays, which is the 3-book bind-up of the 3 novellas that feature in this series. So I've read 2 of the 3 novellas. I'm reading the 3rd one this month, and then I have, I think, like 1 or 2 more books, and then I'm done, or I'm up to date with the series, and that's going to be a very sad day. So let's hold up Assaulted Caramel while we talk about Amanda Flower, because it is... I mean, this is the book that everyone knows. I mean, if you know the series, you probably know all of them, but Assaulted Caramel is what starts off this journey for the Amish Candy Shop series. I've also actually read matchmaking can be murder. But we'll highlight that there because I want to focus more on Amish Candy Shop. When I think of the genre that this series is written under, which is cozy mystery, I think about the two words, cozy mystery. Mystery is its own genre, but this is a separate genre that is highlighted by the difference, and the difference being the added word cozy. If you're going to write a cozy mystery series, to me, the cozy mystery series needs to be a cozy, warm, comfortable read that feels like putting on a nice, comfy, warm jumper or sweater, or just wrapping a beautiful blanket around yourself, or sipping a cup of cocoa while you're reading a book by the fire type read. Amanda Flower does that. To me, what makes a cozy mystery series is quintessential Amanda Flower. She is, and what is so fantastic, even better, and I was saying this on my Discord recently, is that Amanda Flower is her actual name. It's not a pen name. And if anyone deserves the name Amanda Flower, it is Amanda Flower. Because not only does she write such sweet, cozy, comfortable, beautiful books that you know, I've had the absolute fortune of reading, but her as a person, let alone her as an author, taking off the author hat, her as a person is one of the most sweetest, kindest, beautiful natured people, authors that I've ever seen. The moment that I first stepped into this series and met our protagonist, Bailey King, I thought, oh, I'm going to be in for a wild ride because some things went down. But then, not too much later, Bailey ends up going back home to Amish country, and everything is just, oh my gosh, it feels like a warm hug. It's really hard to explain, but every time I would go to pick up another one of the books in this amazing series, I knew that even if I was struggling with the book I was reading beforehand, that I could take a deep breath and relax and know that I would be okay, because it's Amanda Flower and nothing is going to go wrong. Everything is just going to be so absolutely beautiful. Amanda Flower fully deserves to be on this list, and oh my gosh, I just have so much love for her. Thank you, Amanda Flower. You've done more for me than I know you realize. Thank you very much. The final author I'm going to talk to you all about is a bit of a cheat, but I think I can afford to. Hey, I've seen all your mid-year freak-out book tags, alright, where the prompt says, name a book you like this year, and you're like, yeah, well, no, I can't do that. I need to show you 3. So, I mean, if you all can cheat, so can I. This is an author that technically I did not read in the first half of this year. No. Technically, I've read 2 of this author's works. I read one of them last year in 2021, and the other one I read maybe 2 weeks into the second half of the year. So not that long ago. But I don't care. Screw it. It's my video. I'm allowed to make up the rules as I go along. So, the final author I'm going to be talking to you all about today is Francy Hodgson Burnett. This author has placed some sort of a beautiful spell on me because no matter what I read of hers, it is the single most beautiful, adorable, sweet, kind, loving book that I've read. I tell you, last year, when I was doing my favourites by genre video at the end of the year, this book was my favourite classic of the year. This book I only read about a couple of days ago. But it's so incredible. So yeah, a couple of days ago, and I need to do a reading vlog soon enough, but a couple of days ago I was reading this book, A Little Princess, and I was really enjoying it, and I think I got to about the halfway mark, and I thought, oh, I love this book, I really should read more of her works. Who's the author? Francy Hodgson Burnett. That sounds familiar. Oh my gosh, she wrote The Secret Garden. And I love this one too. I don't, honestly, I don't know what to say. The way, and I mean, these are classics. These are old books. I doubt Francy Hodgson Burnett is still alive these days, but the credit is so deserved. Frances Hodgson Burnett, at least with these two books, has written beautiful books. Just she writes them in different ways. The Secret Garden's beauty lies within its imagery. The similes and metaphors, the imagery that Frances Hodgson Burnett uses in the garden of the book, The Secret Garden, allow the garden to come to life in your mind's eye. You can see it, you can see how beautiful it is, you just want to be there. She makes it so sound so enticing. In A Little Princess, it is the soul of the protagonist that we follow, Sarah. Sarah has the most beautiful soul. She doesn't take issues with anyone. This was written, as I say, it's a classic a long time ago, where differences that made people stand out would make those people stand alone. And Sarah is the type of character that she loves everyone. Doesn't matter who you are, she has love for you. And oh my gosh, it was just so beautifully refreshing to read, and credit more so to the fact that it's a classic and an old book and was written back in those days, because it's a beautiful book to read now. And I've spoken about classics before, like there are two parts to a classic becoming a classic. The first is that it was written a long time ago. The second is that it still holds up to this day. Both of these still hold up to this day, but this one in particular, there are a lot of lessons that we can learn from Sarah as a character, but they're both just so beautiful. And I don't mean beautifully written as in purple prose and, you know, flowery writing, because that's not the type of thing that I like. No, not at all. It's really easy to read. So if you're someone who doesn't pick up classics because you're scared of the flowery writing style, or that it'll be hard to read, with Frances Hodgson Burnett, these are really easy books to read. But it's just the way that she goes about telling the story. Oh my gosh, so beautiful that I don't care if I broke the rules. Screw it. It's my channel. I can do what I want. Frances Hodgson Burnett has made it on this list, and it's very well deserved. But that is it. Those are the 5 of my favourite authors for the first half of the year. Unless I'm talking about Frances Hodgson Burnett, but moving on. Mostly. But in the meantime, that is where I am going to leave it. Letting you all go with peace, blessings, and so much love. There are more favourites and non-favourites coming your way, so keep an eye out for them. And thank you so much for watching. Please do be kind, love one another, and spread your sparkling energy all throughout the world. And until next time, say it with me, happy reading!